Welcome to SwitchCorner, my name is Alex, and today we're taking a look at my favourite eShop deals, but this one is a little different. The Super Sale, it finally went live for those of us in the US and Canada, so it's an exclusive roundup of games at all other regions. You actually saw these deals in the last few weeks, so hopefully that saves you some time. You can still, however, region up should you want to pick something up. My usual weekly under $10 video, that will now go live on Friday of this week. With that though, hit subscribe, but join us here on SwitchCorner for reviews and deals near daily, and let's get started. A quick note on this video then, this is me working smarter, not harder, and I've used the footage from the last few weeks, compiled it all together, but of course with that new pricing, I knew I was keeping these videos for a reason. If you do grab anything then, head to cornershop.gg and use code CORNER at checkout for 10% off officially licensed Nintendo eShop credit. That is going to be instant delivery. The channel gets a small kickback as well. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 then gets a new low price with 50% off on this. It's one of the better ports on the console. Rebuilt from the ground up, it delivered because it didn't mess with the formula. It respected the source material, and it's just a fantastic set of levels with a ton of challenges, and it controls just so well. I played it in my youth like many of you, and it's amazing just how quickly you pick up the controls again. The way I described this release in my head, thinking back to that original release, this is almost how I remember it, and I think that just says straight away they basically got it spot on. Assassin's Creed Ezio Collection then is another deal we had recently in the US and Canada, but now it's elsewhere with an increased as well 40% off. Now this bundles together for many the best the Assassin's Creed series has ever outputted, and these are fantastic ports. That's going to be Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood and Revelations. Now I reviewed the second one on the channel, so do find that below in the pinned comment, but this, for me, fantastic lead, fantastic games, absolutely worth a visit. Everhood then is a gem that I like to go on about, and we get a new low price outside of the US and Canada. This one is perhaps one of the stranger games I've played in recent memory. Now you control a wooden doll whose arms have been stolen by a blue gnome. What follows then is basically a musical based journey, think rhythm based battles, and it's around 6 hours of weirdness. This world is incredible though, it gets challenging as well, and I'd suggest watch a full review, just get a good feel for the mechanics in here. A new low price then, 33% off. Grapple Dog, this is here rocking 30% off. It comes from the team over at Super Rare Games. It was their first ever digital release. Now I reviewed it on the channel, find that in the pinned comment below, but I was really impressed. It's a platformer with a sizable amount of levels behind it, and there's some serious creativity with its title, Grapple Hook. There was some minor frame drops at launch, but overall I think genre fans will be impressed. It may look cute too, but just know it knows when it needs to pack a challenge, and you'll be a pro by the end game. I particularly enjoyed the 3D overworld map though, but I do wish they'd done more with these sailing sections. Carrion Full Body then gets a new low price, that is 70% off. Now this is a game I've loved ever since the original release, and this took the base game, it added in then an entirely new character and story arc. Some enjoyed that extra content, others felt it impacted the pacing, but overall I was impressed. Adults only this one, first off, just know that going in, but the idea, it is a puzzle game where you climb blocks in your nightmares, escaping what is evil. The story then in this world, those that are unfaithful are finding themselves in a dream, a world when they sleep where they can be killed. Definitely weird stuff, but the presentation, the overall design is just incredible. Road 96 then was another one that surprised me, a narrative-led adventure. You exist in what is a corrupt world. Kids are going missing. They are basically trying to escape this country. Basically, they want to proceed across the border. Your role in this, control the kids and do not get caught. It's a procedurally generated road trip where you'll meet a unique cast of characters to push the story forward. If you escape though or get caught, that is not the end of the game. A new broadcast appears, new kids have gone missing. Now you'll choose that next character to go for the next run. It had frame rate issues, but overall, the story, it won me over, and it has an incredible soundtrack as well. A new low price then, 35% off. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax may not have been the Persona entry many wanted, but for fight fans, I think it's more than worth your time in this. It is a steal of a price with a new low 30% off. An incredibly deep control system, personas to call into battle, and a story mode that plays out as a visual novel, if anything would be the best description. The only thing I will say on that story though, you will need knowledge of Persona 4 to get the most out of it. I still myself hope we see Golden hit the Switch, but given the huge cast of characters, modes and mechanics, I would suggest check out my video review first. Make sure it's going to be one for you and you'll find that in the pinned comments. Tetris Effect Connected then is our only game today matching the low price, but this was my game of 2021. I adored nearly everything about it, and it's one of the few 10 out of 10s I've ever given on the channel. I've actually only ever given out 2 from 437 reviews over the last 4 or so years. Basically, I do not take them lightly. This took the core concept of Tetris though, and combined it with incredible visual and audio design. It's packing a story-like mode though. It's one of the best games in my opinion that you can play on the OLED given its explosion of colours. There's multiplayer, competitive or co-op, and that is addictive. Pretty much myself play this nightly, and then the soundtrack, it is stunning. It's back then rocking 40% off. Star Wars The Force Unleashed then is next with a new low 15% off. I know it's not huge, but a quality game. We recently saw Knights of the Old Republic 2 launch with a solid port, and this, it's actually one of their better jobs as well. A third-person action-adventure, it's showing its age in some of the mechanics. It's definitely kind of showing it in the responsiveness at times as well, but few games have captured that feeling of using the Force like this one. The idea though, you are an apprentice to Darth Vader, you are out on all sorts of missions, even potential revolution. The lightsaber battles, they are a blast so as you feel the incredible power you wield. I think any Star Wars fan should have this one in their library, and I have a video coming up dedicated to every single Star Wars game available on the Switch right now. Death's Door, this should have won Indie Game of 2021 in my opinion. Think here though, a spin on the old school sourdough formula, isometric in design, and you will be uncovering weapons, items, taking on boss encounters, and of course then a huge amount of enemies. I just like the interconnected world and exploration though, it kept me locked in throughout, and that story, it's unique as well. The idea, you are a crow, you collect up souls, you live in a black and white world, but head into this alternate one, the colour one. Here you must collect the souls quickly and get home, because here you actually age. Things go wrong though, a soul goes missing, and now you are on a countdown. You can't technically return until you find it. A new low price then, 35% off. Hey, it is, and does this one really need an introduction? You know it's a good week though when this one shows up, especially with a new low price, 40% off. A masterpiece of design though, and one of the best roguelikes out there. This one's isometric and it has you attempting to escape hell. It's just addictive, and players out there, they've racked up a huge amount of hours in this world. Once I completed my first run though, that took around a good 20 or so hours, what I loved, I still wanted to go back. There was still a whole lot more to see. Along the way though, you'll kind of be leveling up, figuring out your weapon of choice and slaying a slew of enemies and bosses. The soundtrack in this one as well, it is absolutely killer. And that's Shin Megami Tensei 5 with a new low of 33% off, another title like many today that featured in my top 10 games of 2021. I'll put that video in the pinned comment down below if you do want to check it out, but this one, an RPG, it was long awaited, and I thought this was just incredible work given the power of the Nintendo Switch that they are working with. Does have a few performance issues, don't get me wrong at points, but it didn't dampen the experience for me. It uses then what it calls the press turn system for its combat, and you awaken a new Tokyo that transforms you to fight back against demons. That is, at least unless you choose to side with the dark. Watch a full review on this one. I can't do it justice in like 30 or so seconds, but it is well loved for good reason, and for many, this will be the best game of 2021. Doom Eternal matching the low price with 67% off, another fantastic port job. My full video for this one's in the pinned comments, alongside Octopath Traveler. Now this one gets 50% off, also matching the low price. I think it's one of the strongest RPGs on the system, with a huge cast, an interweaved story, and a stunning visual style that we got to see actually again in Triangle Strategy. I think it's going to be sticking around now for a while until they completely overuse it and we all get fed up of it. They pretty much nearly always do that. Fez then is another classic. It's here with 40% off, a new low price. This one, it's a puzzle game where you exist in what you believe to be a 2D world, or at least that is the case until you discover a third dimension. Now you'll traverse this world and platform around these structures, rotating the world as you go. Incredibly fun and a well-loved title. It comes highly recommended from me and it is perfect for handheld. Mega Man 11 then, it's finally getting a new low price here with 67% off. It's the most recent entry and we are, I will say, long overdue 12 at this point. But it's the series classic, tried and tested 2D action platforming, but it's even packing difficulty options. This series, Mega Man, it's known for its incredible challenge, so that makes this one of the more accessible. Expect here though to battle a number of robot masters and in turn inherit their abilities. I think it's the best the series has ever looked and it plays and sounds just as good as well. You'll also find then Legacy Collections 1 and 2 on sale currently if you want more Mega Man in your life. Carrion then is a unique one, a Metroidvania by the side and a horror game as well, except here you do not play the victim, rather you play the murderous alien. Explore a laboratory where you awake and along the way basically massacre everyone in your path. This in turn leads to our character growing and he actually controls really well, which was my concern going in, given the fact you're basically like a tentacle blob of sorts. It's got some stunning pixel work though, the soundtrack is a tense background to the action, and while my main complaint, the lack of a map, will get in your way at times, it's definitely Devolver Digital doing their usual quality job of digging up the more unusual for us all. It's a new low price then, 50% off, and my review, it's in the pinned comment down below. Lego Builder's Journey then, to slow down the pace here, it's a new low price, 50% off. It's another one I reviewed on the channel, find that in the pinned comment down below. But this one, it's a puzzle adventure, which is honestly something special. It takes the Lego name, does something different, and it absolutely pays off with what is an emotional but wordless story that allows you to walk away with your own meaning. The gameplay concept though, travel what are diorama-like locations and build connections so you can traverse across the world. It's simple honestly, but I played it in one sitting, I'd say around 2.5 to 3 hours, and I really enjoyed it. It packs a creative mode as well, which just basically allows you to build freely in a small location. Ape Out then gets a new low price here, 75% off. Love this game, picked up the physical release as well as the soundtrack on vinyl, and it is a must play as you take on the role of Title Ape escaping from some sort of laboratory. It's pretty challenging but visceral stuff as you crush your foes. What I always loved, grabbing items or enemies and throwing them around this world. Ape Out then stands out because it has a reactive jazz-styled soundtrack that actually changes with your actions. It's also got this stunning minimalistic visual style that really highlights the destruction. Looks fantastic in handheld as well, especially if you own the OLED. These colours, they just absolutely pop. Konami then are doing their thing with two collections getting a new low price. That's the Castlevania bundle and the Contra bundle, both with 80% off, both marking a new low price. Castlevania packs in 8 titles, one never released in English before, that is Kid Dracula, as well as a digital art book. Then Contra, that's going to be 10 games, a few are slight variations, and it also includes a digital book and interview. I was particularly impressed with the bonus material in these. I don't typically go for the digital goodies, but I really did spend some time with them. So yeah, old school fans, if you fancy blasting away enemies or the challenge of Castlevania, definitely recommend these. The Switch will always be the best home as well, as these are up there on my favourites for playing handhelds. Ion Fury then will be for the old school fans, for anyone that grew up around the era of Doom and Duke Nukem, you know, first person shooting. This, it was developed by 3D Realms, and you'll be playing as Shelley Bombshell Harrison, and you are out to take down evil Dr. Haskell and his forces in the streets of Neo DC. You'll be traversing 7 zones, each with multiple levels, and the gunplay here, it is a blast. Again, it is old school, meaning it can be pretty difficult, but as they say on the eShop, they've embraced the new with features such as headshots dialed up physics, and then a whole host of weapons and ammo types. Music is epic as well. A new low price, 66% off. Into the final 3 games of the video then, starting with Saints Row the Third, the full package. We've got the 4th on the Switch as well, which took things into the world of superheroes and aliens, but this is definitely my personal preferred entry. Still kind of crazy, but I just prefer that more, let's say, grounded approach. Starting as a GTA clone back in the day, it kind of made room for itself, and I think if I had to just, describe it now, it's just fun, more like early days of GTA. The idea here, though, Saints Row are not just a street gang anymore, but loved and a brand, if anything. Think a whole host of branded goods. That is, at least until the Syndicate arrives. You refuse to bow down, and it's now time to fight back. It's the fuller package, so it throws in all sorts of DLC, which includes everything from items to actual gameplay impacting mission packs. A new low price here, then, 75% off. AI the Somnium Files then to close us out, and this is easily one of the best deals I've seen in a long time. It's 80% off. It's one of my personal top games of the last few years. I'm psyched now to check out the sequel that's going to be dropping later this month. An adventure experience, so you'll be playing as a special agent in future Tokyo on the case of a serial killer. It's got elements of almost Phoenix Wright, think crime scene investigation, but it embraces the futuristic with its world design, dream exploration, and an incredible cast of characters. It's a stunning looking game as well that I picked up honestly because I just like the cover art, so I took the risk. But yeah, it's genius, and this is a price point where everyone should be taking a look, or at least, consider it, maybe go and watch a full review. And that's the week down. Will you be adding anything to the library this week or hoarding onto that cash? Good chance we'll have another bonus deals video as well as the Saturday edition, because this sale, it is absolutely massive. Remember then, if you are grabbing anything, head to cornershop.gg and use code CORNER at checkout for 10% off. A shout out then to the patrons of the channel who are going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. It helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. Then hit subscribe, but join us here on SwitchCorner for reviews and deals near daily, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.